everyone. In today's session, we are going to have the analysis of major characters in the novel Animal Farm by George Orwell. The first major character in the novel, Napoleon. From the very beginning of the novella, Napoleon emerges as an utterly corrupt opportunist. Though always present at the early meetings of the new state, Napoleon never makes a single contribution to the revolution, not to the formulation of its ideology, not to the bloody struggle that it necessitates, not to the new society's initial attempts to establish itself. He never shows interest in the strength of Animal Farm itself, only in the strength of his power over it. Thus, the only project he undertakes with enthusiasm is the training of puppies. He doesn't educate them for their own good or for the good of all, however, but rather for his own good. They become his own private army or secret police, a violent means by which he imposes his will on others. Although he is most directly modeled on the Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin, Napoleon represents, in a more general sense, the political tyrants that have emerged throughout human history and with particular frequency during the 20th century. His namesake is not any communist leader but the early 18th century French General Napoleon, who betrayed the democratic principles on which he rode to power, arguably becoming as great a despot as the aristocrats whom he supplanted. It is a testament to Orwell's acute political intelligence and to the universality of his fable that Napoleon can easily stand for any of the great dictators and political schemers in world history, even those whose, who arose after Animal Farm was written. In the behavior of Napoleon and his henchmen, one can detect the lying and bullying tactics of totalitarian leaders such as Joseph Tito, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, Augusto Pinochet, and Slobodan Milosevic, treated in sharply critical terms. The second major character is Snowball, Orwell's stint in a Trotskyist battalion in the Spanish Civil War, during which he first began plans for a critique of totalitarian communism, influenced his relatively positive portrayal of Snowball. As a parallel for Leon Trotsky, Snowball emerges as a fervent ideologue who throws himself heart and soul into the attempt to spread animalism worldwide and to improve Animal Farm's infrastructure. His idealism, however, leads to his downfall. Relying only on the force of his own logic and rhetorical skill to gain his influence, he proves no match for Napoleon's show of brute force. Although Orwell depicts Snowball in a relatively appealing light, he refrains from idealizing his character, making sure to endow him with certain moral flaws. For example, Snowball basically accepts the superiority of the pigs over the rest of the animals. Moreover, his fervent, single minded enthusiasm for grand projects such as the windmill might have erupted into full blown megalomaniac despotism had he not been chased from Animal Farm. Indeed, Orwell suggests that we cannot eliminate government corruption by electing principled individuals to roles of power. He reminds us throughout the novella that it is power itself that corrupts. The next major character is Boxer, the most sympathetically drawn character in the novel. Boxer epitomizes all of the best qualities of the exploited working classes: dedication, loyalty, and a huge capacity for labor. He also, however, suffers from what Orwell saw as a working class major weaknesses: a naive trust in the good intentions of the intelligentsia, and an inability to recognize even the most blatant forms of political corruption. Exploited by the pigs as much or more than he had been by Mr. Jones, Boxer represents all of the invisible labor that undergirds the political drama being carried out by the elites. Boxer's pitiful death at a glue factory dramatically illustrates the extent of the pig's betrayal. It may also, however, speak to the specific significance of Boxer himself. Before being carted off, he serves as a force that holds Animal Farm together. The next major character is Squealer. Throughout his career, Orwell explored how politicians manipulate language in an age of mass media. In Animal Farm, the silver-tongued pig Squealer abuses language to justify Napoleon's actions and policies to the prolet- proletariat by whatever means seemed necessary. By, by radically simplifying language, as when he teaches the sheep to bleat four legs good, two legs bad, two legs better, he limits the terms of debate. By complicating language unnecessarily, he confuses and intimidates the uneducated, as when he explains that pigs, who are the brain workers of the farm, consume milk and apples not for pleasure but for the good of their comrades. In this latter strategy, he also employs jargon as well as a baffling vocabulary of false and impenetrable statistics, engendering in the other animals both self doubt, a sense of hopelessness, a sense of hopelessness about ever assessing the truth without the pig's meditation. Squealer's lack of conscience and unwavering loyalty to his leader, alongside his rhetorical skills, make him the perfect propagandist for any tyranny. Squealer's name also fits him well. Squealing, of course, refers to a pig's typical form of vocalization, and Squealer's speech defines him. At the same time, to squeal also means to betray, aptly evoking Squealer's behavior with regard to his fellow animals. The next major character is Old Major. As a dramatic socialist, Orwell had a great deal of respect for Karl Marx, the German political economist, and even for Vladimir Lenin, the Russian revolutionary leader. His critique of Animal Farm has little to do with the Marxist ideology underlying the rebellion, but rather with the perversion of that ideology by later leaders. Major, who represents both Marx and Lenin, serves as the source of the ideals that the animals continue to uphold even after their pig leaders have betrayed them. Though his portrayal of Old Major is largely positive, Orwell does include a few small ironies that allow the reader to question the venerable pig's motives. For instance, in the midst of his long litany of complaints about how the animals have been treated by human beings, Old Major is forced to concede that his own life has been long, full, and free from the terrors he has vividly sketched for his rapt audience. He seems to have claimed a false brotherhood with the other animals in order to garner their support for his vision. The next character is Clover, a good hearted female cart horse and Boxer's close friend. Clover often suspects the pigs of violating one or another of the seven commandments, but she repeatedly blames herself for misremembering the commandments. The next character, Moses, the tame raven who spreads stories of Sugar Candy Mountain, the paradise to which animals supposedly go when they die. Moses plays Moses play only a small role in Animal Farm, but Orwell uses him to explore how communism exploits religion as something with which to pacify the oppressed. Molly, the vain, flighty mare who pulls Mr. Jones' carriage, Molly craves the attention of human beings and loves being groomed and pampered. She has a difficult time with her new life on Animal Farm as she misses wearing ribbons in her mane and eating sugar cubes. She represents the petite bourgeoisie that fled from Russia a few years after the Russian Revolution. The next character is Benjamin, the long lived donkey who refuses to feel inspired by the rebellion. Benjamin firmly believes that life will remain unpleasant no matter who is in charge. Of all of the animals on the farm, he alone comprehends the changes that take place, but he seems either unwilling or unable to oppose the pigs. Then Muriel, the white goat, who reads the seven commandments to Clover whenever Clover suspects the pigs of violating their prohibitions. Mr. Jones, the often drunk farmer who runs the manor farm before the animals stage the rebellion and establish Animal Farm. Mr. Jones is an unkind master who indulges himself while his animals lack food. He thus represents Tsar Nicholas II, whom the Russian Revolution outstayed. Mr. Frederick, the tough, shrewd operator of Pinchfield, a neighboring farm, based on Adolf Hitler, the ruler of Nazi Germany in the 1930s and 1940s. Mr. Frederick proves an untrustworthy neighbor. Mr. Pilkington, the easygoing gentleman farmer who runs Foxwood, a neighboring farm. Mr. Frederick's bitter enemy, Mr. Pilkington, represents the capitalist governments of England and the United States. Mr. Whymper, the human solicitor whom Napoleon hires to represent Animal Farm in human society. Mr. Whymper's entry into the Animal Farm community initiates contact between Animal Farm and human society, alarming the common animals. Then Jessie and Bluebell, two dogs, each of whom gives birth early in the novel. Napoleon takes the puppies in order to educate them. Then Minimus, the poet, the poet pig who writes verse about Napoleon and paints the banal patriotic song Animal Farm, Animal Farm to replace the earlier idealistic hymn Beast of England, which old Major passes on to the others. This is all about major and minor characters, secondary characters in the novel Animal Farm by George Orwell. In the next session, we are going to have chapter-wise summaries of Animal Farm. Thank you.